Welcome to Not for Pieters. I'm John Dougal. Our last two videos have been on controlling women. It's a nasty behavior, but it's common, almost pervasive. Well, we looked at King Solomon and his observations, and he looked at young women and called most of them thorns, in part due, no doubt, to their controlling nature. So it's best to avoid thorns, but men make mistakes. We chase after the tail rather than chase after a woman of fine character. So it seems appropriate to do a video on behalf of the guys who chased and then caught a thorn. And they want an answer to the question, what do I do now? Well, a thorn's behavior can be nearly limitless. She could be utterly rebellious, fighting you over absolutely everything. She could be adulterous. You could have a child where she cuckolded you, where the child isn't even yours. Lots of things she could be doing. For this video, however, we're just going to consider one thorny behavior, and that's the controlling behavior described in Genesis 3:16 after Adam and Eve had sinned. And God said to the woman, "You will greatly desire," and the word translated as desire implies desire to control your husband, but he'll rule over you. Well, for a woman who regularly exhibits controlling behavior, how might the marriage play out after you confront her about it? She's got an ability to stop her controlling behavior. She could reduce it, or she could just plow on and just ignore you, and maybe even actually make it even worse and increase her controlling behavior. So these situations where it persists, what do you do? What do you need to know before you start to address the situation? We just need to remember, first off, that a woman is created in the image of God. That includes having a free will. And then she values her feelings. It's something that men generally don't rely upon or value as much. And this creates a kind of a relationship understanding disconnect. Men in relationships rely way too much on trying to be Mr. Fix-It. They look at a woman as if she's some sort of living, breathing logic statement that they can solve, as if I do this behavior, then she'll do that. I've read the scripture from front to back, and there is no biblical if-then statement for fixing relationship issues when the other person's behavior is poor. And I've seen and read crap like this way too many times in idiotic relationship self-help books. The gist goes like this: if a man will behave thusly, then the woman will get what she wants from his loving, caring, masculine leadership, and then she'll follow. BS. Try to find one biblical example of this idiocy. You won't find it. What you will find is all sorts of examples of horrible women with no real fix to the root problem, such as in Proverbs 27:15. A continual dripping in a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. Proverbs 21:19. It's better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. In both these cases, there's no winning advice to follow. There's no winning potion against the continual dripping of contention. There's no winning potion against the contentiousness and anger while living out in the wilderness. And the reason for that is you can change your behavior. You can't change her behavior. I'll say that again. You can change your behavior, but you can't change her behavior. And the absolute stupidest thing that a man can do when there's contention and controlling behavior is to put on the Mr. Fix-It hat and think that somehow by the brilliance of your problem-solving ability that she'll just have an angel of enlightenment rest upon her shoulder and exclaim, "Oh, wonderful husband, thou art so wise. Blessed am I of all women." If this is you, and it very well could be you, get up, go to the mirror, look yourself in the eye, and say, "I will no longer be the moron that I have been trying to play Mr. Fix-It." Let's look at a few of the intrinsic differences. A man is not a woman. When there's a problem, a man compared to a woman is relatively pragmatic and stoic. He wants to solve the problem. He prefers his emotion closer to an even keel, and he seeks peace. A woman is not a man. When there's a problem, a woman cares more about her feelings than she does about the actual problem. She cares more about her man's behavior in the midst of the problem than she does about the problem. And she wants to feel and express her emotions in the midst of it all. And she doesn't really care about a man's desire for peace. She wants to see if he can be engaged with her and understand her. So it's foolish to look at the areas where the intrinsic nature of a woman is different than the intrinsic nature of a man and then declare, I'm right, you're wrong. It doesn't matter what the problem is. Don't start by addressing the problem. Start by addressing the need for unity. The man's going to benefit by demonstrating respect and understanding that the woman values her feelings and that she's made in the image of God differently than how a man is made in the image of God. So what do? When a controlling woman tries to badger you, or manipulate you, what do? In the book Boundaries by Cloud and Townsend, controlling behavior is just one of 4 boundary violations. A controlling person, whether they overtly or manipulatively aggress, they will not hear the word no, at least not at first. A relationship can't be healthy without unity, and when there is conflict or controlling behavior, the number one goal should be to establish unity or reestablish it. And maybe it'll happen, and maybe it won't. Winning is not the goal. Doing the right thing is the goal. The man, by an act of his will, can do the right thing. The woman, likewise, by an act of will can do the right thing. Or either of them can do the wrong thing. So when you see controlling behavior, in order to establish unity, you need to be you, and she needs to be her. So the first step towards unity, when you see controlling behavior, is to firmly and clearly say, no, but say it in a way that she'll hear you. Let's look at a minor issue as an example on how do you reach for unity. Let's say you're relaxing on the sofa, reading a book, and she storms into the living room a bit perturbed and crossly orders you, I need you to take the trash out now. What do? Well, the trash may very well need to go out. Tomorrow's trash pickup day, and she wants you to take the trash bag out of the kitchen and put it in the bin, take the bin to the curb. Do you obey? Does it help her if you do as you're told? Her tone is an affront, and she's being disrespectful. And the trash doesn't need to go out immediately. But she's feeling angry for some damn reason, and she feels something, and she's reacting to what she feels by her desire to control you. So what do? You don't want to show her disrespect, and you don't want to disrespect yourself, but her tone and the command itself is an issue. She's basically thrown egg in your face. It's a boundary violation, and it needs to be addressed. So you get up off the sofa, look her in the eye, and then calmly say, no. She won't like it. She'll fight back. She'll vent in rage and say a bunch of crap. Let her. Just calmly wait. Say nothing. But at the right time, when she's blown out some steam or paused at the end of it all, you say, I'm not taking out the trash because deep down you don't want me to. You want me to look you in the eye and tell you that you're not my master. And then ask her, what's going on? Why are you feeling so angry with me? What's the real issue? It isn't the trash. Then shut up and wait. You expect an answer. If it takes an hour, wait. If it takes 4 hours, wait. If she never answers, wait. Whatever you do, do not take out the trash. And do not put your Mr. Fix-It hat on. You don't have the right to fix her behavior. That's her job, not yours. And you need to respect the areas where you're made in the image of God, but differently. You need to seek unity before solving the silly little trash problem. She's your woman. You are her man. You need to be the woman and the man united. And there's no guarantee that she'll seek discussion and unity at this point. She can make the wrong choice. If she does, let her take the trash out by herself or not. She can get even angrier. Let her. Something will come up and she'll bark out another order later if she doesn't want to give up. Just follow the same dialogue and get to the root feelings that's driving the behavior. And maybe she'll tell you about the feelings, what's really bugging her. If she does, there's a kind of a binary thing. Maybe you drive towards unity or maybe you don't. The book Boundaries is not a formula for success or winning. It's not a formula for solving relationship problems. It's just a guide on how to do what's right. And sometimes the person can be just hell-bent to violate boundaries over and over again. And they're relentless and they never give up. Not ever. Well, in Jeremiah chapter 3, it's about abusive relationship between God and Israel, and also about between God and Judah. And Jeremiah speaks in terms that we can understand. He speaks in terms of broken unity. Israel uses God when there's an opportunity for benefit, but then they turn to false gods and idolatry whenever it suits them. It's manipulative and controlling and grossly disrespectful. So Jeremiah uses speech we can understand, and he likens Israel to a woman who takes from her man, but then spreads her legs for other men whenever it pleases her to do so. And God over and over again has shown patience, but over and over again this horrible behavior by Israel is continued, basically to try to get benefits from the Lord and then trying to seek whatever benefits or gain they can get from, some other relationship where they spread their legs. Well, in Jeremiah, the wording likens this idolatry to prostitution and wickedness. Jeremiah 3, verses 2 through 5. Look up to the barren heights and see, is there any place where you have not been ravished? By the roadside you sat waiting for lovers, sat like a nomad in the desert. You've defiled the land with your prostitution and wickedness. Therefore the showers have been withheld, and no spring rains have fallen. Yet you have the brazen look of a prostitute. You refuse to blush with shame. Have you not just called to me, my father, my friend of my youth? Will you always be angry? Will your wrath continue forever? This is how you talk, but you do all the evil that you can. Well, Israel did whatever they damn well pleased. They sought control of the relationship for their selfish benefit, and God said, no. Well, if a relationship has one person bent on manipulation, on control, respect is gone, selfishness rules, and unity is gone. At the very least, these things are damaged. And there needs to be consequences, starting with saying no. If her behavior continues, you need to remove yourself from her presence. It's a way of saying no that in a way that she's going to hear it. It basically conveys, I meant it when I said no. Okay. Well, this kept up in the book of Jeremiah. In Jeremiah 3:8 it says, I gave faithless Israel her certificate of divorce and sent her away because of all her adulteries. This is the point where there is the ultimate no. It's called never again. People get really hung up on a single act of cheating, and cheating is bad. It's really bad. Yet God was still patient with Israel over and over again when they cheated. It wasn't until it got to the point where it was all her adulteries, where it was like unity was just gone and it was never coming back. People love to focus on the single act of adultery and they miss the message here. And divorce was initiated after Israel demonstrated the continual, persistent, and tenacious disregard of unity. And it was clear, that whatever they did whatever they damn well pleased over and over again, and that unity was utterly broken. God was patient. God wanted unity, but there was a point where he finally said, hey, no mas. so should you. So you start by doing the right thing by saying no, and then seeking unity. And maybe you find it, maybe you don't. In Jeremiah 3, God did not find it. There's no magic solution that always leads to winning. In summary, relationships are tough, and doing what's right is tough. But do the right thing anyway. Seek unity. Maybe you get it, maybe you don't. Or either way, I wish you luck. Till next time, cheers.